2025 has been a strange year for strategy games. Not because nothing came out, I feel it was quite the opposite, to be honest. Almost too much came out for me. Early access everywhere, I felt Steam buried anything that didn't shout out immediately, and genuinely a lot of smart strategy games quietly slipped past most people. So this isn't going to be a hidden gems list, it's going to be a catch-up video for everything you might have missed in 2025. Hey everyone, this is Tom from LT Gaming. We try to take a bit of a slower, more thoughtful look at the strategy scene and systems that actually make us tick. If this kind of discovery-led content is your thing, feel free to like the video, it helps immensely. Of course, you can always subscribe if you feel I've earned it. Right then, with all that out of the way, let's get into this list. First up is going to be Era 1. On paper, it sounds like a mashup of every space RTS idea you've ever heard, but in play it actually delivers something quite distinctive. You're dropped into a shattered cosmos where you build a base from scratch, design ships with modular parts, and manage fleets that feel more like ecosystems than just random unit spawns. I feel like this game has a really good rhythm. You mine resources, you fortify your base against waves of various threats, and then it's about refining designs for both defense and in your starships as well. A lot of folks skipped it because it launched in early access on the same day as many other bigger titles, and to be honest, its trailer leaned a bit on the generic side. But if you want an RTS with deep customization, emergent tactical choices, especially in a sci-fi sandbox, you should take a look at this game. Next up is a oldie but a goodie, Emperor of the Fading Suns Enhanced. If you ever wished for a 4X grand strategy that could feel like a feudal epic but in space, this is gonna be it, and it quietly re-emerged on Steam in 2025. You take command of one of 5 royal houses, you juggle politics, economy and warfare across land, sea, air and of course the void itself. Diplomacy is a real part of this game, it's not just a spreadsheet. You got the church, merchant leagues, alien races and noble factions, all with their own agendas and powers. Mechanically, I feel like this is a really rich intersection of empire building and tactical combat, and it has a nice sturdy tech tree, exactly what you want. Now if you're thinking, Tom, this game's really bloody old, this is the 2025 Steam release of the enhanced edition of the late 90s classic. Modernised and more stable. I gotta be honest with you guys, it's not the easiest game to pick up and just play, and I think that meant a lot of players just breezed straight past it. But if you want deep 4X with political nuance and sprawling galactic strategy, this game is absolutely stellar. Alright, you guys know we love a good war game here, and Armoured Brigade II is very much that. But it's also one of the more interesting strategy releases of 2025 if you enjoy thinking a few moves ahead. There's no base building or tech rushing. The strategy here lives in planning deployments across huge maps, understanding how armour, infantry and air support work together, and letting the terrain do half the fighting for you. Orders take time to filter through, units behave according to doctrine, and battles unfold slowly and deliberately. So success will come from preparation and not panic. It launched it in a very crowded year, and I don't feel it ever really broke out of the niche, partly because it doesn't dress itself up for mass appeal. But if methodical, systems-led strategy is your thing, you're going to genuinely connect with this one. Next up we're going to Airbourne Empire, and this one's got a very different flavour from the last two, less grind, more strategic momentum in the skies. At its core it's all about expansion, elevation and efficiency. Establish a beautiful floating city in the sky and manage resources across them and other ones. And then choreograph how they grow, interact and compete. It's refreshingly light on menus and heavy on, I'd say, more meaningful decisions. So trying to boost your logistics, balancing trade with growth, and when to dip into diplomatic or even military options. I actually covered this one right at the start of the year, but it never really made much of a big splash, and it's a bit of a shame because the underlying systems are really quite good. If you enjoy a strategy game that rewards macro planning and system synergy more than twitchy micromanagement, Airbourne Empire is worth a second look. Okay, so this one does hit a soft spot for me because I've loved the Tracy brothers ever since the game Star Traders, which is absolutely amazing. So when their new game Cyberknight's Flashpoint left early access this year, I was very excited. This one is a blend of tactical turn-based encounters with this crunchy cyberpunk RPG background, and then I'd say strategy leaning choices. Think gritty, gridless combat and environmental cover that actually has an impact. and everything about it has a sense of momentum, so every mission feels a bit like a puzzle. You manage your gear, you plan team movement, and you decide how loud you want to go in. Stealth can be strategic as shooting your way forward, and it's a neat collision of tactical depth and narrative agency. I felt like the launch should have been a bit bigger, but it sat in early access for a while and then landed in a very crowded release window, the summer. But I think this game is perfect for the winter period if you're looking for something deep and tactical. Annihilate The Spance now, really funky name, and it landed early in 2025 and quietly earned very positive user feedback, but it didn't really bubble up to everyone's orbit. It is a real-time strategy base builder with a twist. You're not issuing micro orders to every unit. Instead, your shipyards will be churning out autonomous fleets and shaping your larger strategic outcomes with your production decisions. You get a real sense of spatial depth with this one, and the single-player campaign spans multiple factions with distinctive playstyles. So you're thinking more about fleet composition and macro timing, and it's nothing to do with frantic clicking, which is a welcome break from me. I think it is easy to see why it slipped by a lot of players. It is indie and really lacked the budget probably to push it to higher heights. So if you want economy, base building and large scale fleet outcomes rather than unit by unit chores, Annihilate The Spance offers that blend in a pretty satisfying manner. Next up we're going to a game called Ground of Aces, and don't let the aerial combat visuals fool you here. This one quietly is blending strategic planning with tactical execution. I found this blend extremely refreshing. So it's half air campaign management, half real-time skirmish theatre, and you're plotting mission objectives, allocating aircrafts and pilots, and thinking about your logistics. But then you also fly and fight in these sorties yourself if you want to. So it's really driven by this dual layer approach. It didn't get much attention in 2025, largely because it doesn't fit neatly into a single genre box. Many, I assume, thought it would be a pure flight sim or pure grand strategy, and it just passed people by. But if you like games that think about resource allocation, campaign pacing, tactical outcomes, and the general vibe speaks to you, it's a very clever hybrid worth checking out. Veterum. This one actually came out in 2025, and if you're into strategy with some weight and grit to it, it's absolutely worth your attention. Now it's more on the slower burn side, survival elements, deep resource management, and really tense decision making. I can't emphasize that enough. I felt dread on some of my turns. You juggle exploration, base building, and survival against a very unforgiving world. The clever part is how everything plays into each other. Do you push further into danger for rare resources? Do you fortify what you've got and prepare for the next cold snap? Very meaningful system of trade-offs are at the core here. It never made really any splash in 2025, but those that played it absolutely love it. But it doesn't jump out the gate with cinematic trailers or aggressive marketing. This is one for the grognards. If you enjoy your strategy, where it's managing tension and choices that you feel, Veterum is going to tick those boxes absolutely. Okay, 2 Point Museum. We actually had a key to review this one back when it launched, but the truth is we were too swamped to give it the time it deserved. And it looks like it's done quite well, but after sitting with it, I genuinely think it deserves to be bigger in this sim space it's in. At its heart, it's city building meets a curatorial economic experience, designing, managing, and expanding your own museum. So balancing your exhibits, your flow of people, staff morale, and finances. And it feels very calm and deceptively fun to play. And once you're juggling multiple wings, special exhibits, and the inevitable funding crunches, it all just comes together very well. It fits the list because, despite doing pretty well, it never really made strategy headlines in 2025. It is one of those games that rewards thoughtful play over the flashy trailer. But if you enjoy systems that feel natural rather than forced, this game lets you shape it with a narrative to boot, and this museum sim is absolutely worth some of your time. So many of you might already know this one, Tavern Keeper, but it still deserves to be on this list because, great exception aside, it should have been bigger in 2025. It is hospitality strategy at its most charming. You build and customize your tavern, hire and manage staff, craft menus, and keep your punters happy basically. What makes it genuinely fun beyond the cozy aesthetic is the way the systems talk to each other. Staff skills matters, customer type matters, inventory and ambience matter, and you're constantly tuning all of that to eke out profit while keeping everyone from peasants to nobles content. It's very approachable, yeah, but by no means shallow. How you price, promote and evolve your tavern day by day is very rewarding, and perhaps it got lumped in with that whole cozy game crowd and overlooked by players hunting deeper complexity, but if you enjoy warm, engaging and wickedly addictive games, you'll find something to connect to in Tavern Keeper. Bellfortis now, and this one I played a fair bit this year, and honestly I had a surprisingly good time with it. It is grand strategy, with the bloat being politely shown the door. It has straightforward systems, clear goals, and choices that matter without 1,000 panels begging for attention. Looking at you, EU5. It's very charming, from the clean map layout to the way factions and economies interact, and the simplicity isn't shallow, it's addictive, because you can see the impact of your choices instantly, whether that is expanding your realm, managing diplomatic ties, or responding to events that crop up organically. Nothing here feels padded for length, it's concise, pleasant to sink into, and you can jump in and out pretty easily. It didn't get a huge spotlight in 2025 because it leans into accessibility rather than complexity, so if you want some grand strategy but without the usual UI overhead, Bellfortis is a very satisfying bite-sized offering. Now, Void War ended up being one of my most played games this year, and it's easy to see why. Picture FTL energy, but with the flavour dial turned up to the grimdark 40k universe. Think chunky tactical decisions, permadeath tension, and combat that feels both strategic and viscerally chaotic. You manage your crew, outfit your ship, and choose your route through a hostile space. Each choice has some teeth to it. Did you really risk that deadly sector for better loot? Do you send boarding parties or keep your guns forward? It's resource and risk management with real stakes. The world is dark, gritty, and resolutely unpolished in all the right ways. And it's bloody fun. Those who played it absolutely love it, and some people just never heard of it. But more people should, and that's why it's top of this list. Void War is the sort of game that clings to you long after you meant to log off.